Life has a funny way of throwing curveballs, doesn't it? One moment you're coasting along, and the next you're blindsided by challenges that make you question everything. But here's the thing. What if those challenges were actually opportunities in disguise? What if the ancient wisdom of Stoicism could help you transform how you see the world instantly? Imagine waking up tomorrow with a completely new perspective, where obstacles no longer stop you, but instead propel you forward. That's exactly what we're diving into today with these 12 Stoic principles. But before we start, I have a challenge for you. As we go through these life-changing principles, I want you to think about how each one can apply to your life. Can you spot a principle that could transform how you deal with your biggest hurdle right now? If so, drop it in the comments and let's talk about it. Oh, and while you're here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like if you find value in it. We're all about growth here, and by joining this community, you're one step closer to unlocking your full potential. Now, let's get started with the first principle. It's all about perception, and trust me, it'll change the way you see everything that comes your way. Ready to dive in? Let's go. Principle 1. Perception shapes reality. Have you ever noticed how two people can experience the exact same event but walk away with completely different feelings about it? Think about a rainstorm. One person might grumble about getting soaked and having their plans ruined, while another could see it as a refreshing break in their day. This difference in perspective is at the heart of Stoicism's first principle. Your perception shapes your reality. It's not the rainstorm that causes frustration or joy. It's how you decide to interpret it. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This simple idea holds incredible power. By choosing how you perceive events in your life, you can transform even the most challenging situations into opportunities for growth. Next time life throws an obstacle your way, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is this something happening to me, or is it happening for me? Shifting from a victim mindset to one of empowerment gives you control. Suddenly challenges become lessons and setbacks become stepping stones. So, how about this? The next time you're faced with a frustrating situation, maybe it's a long line at the store or a stressful deadline at work, try reframing it. What can you learn from it? How might this challenge help you grow stronger? Share your thoughts in the comments if you've had a moment where changing your perception completely shifted your experience. I'd love to hear about it. And speaking of shifting perspectives, the next principle takes this idea even further. It's all about stepping out of your comfort zone and embracing discomfort to build resilience. Trust me, this one will test your limits, but the rewards are worth it. Ready to dive in? Let's continue. Principle 2. Embrace discomfort. Have you ever wondered why some of the most successful people in history actively sought out discomfort? Let me share a story with you. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, one of the most revered Stoic philosophers, would often sleep on the cold ground, even though he had access to the finest beds in the empire. Why would he do such a thing? Simple. He knew that by voluntarily exposing himself to discomfort, he was training his mind and body to be resilient in the face of life's inevitable hardships. This wasn't just about toughening up, it was about mastering the art of embracing discomfort to build mental strength. In today's world, we're constantly seeking comfort, from climate-controlled homes to instant access to food and entertainment. It's easy to avoid anything that feels difficult. But what if I told you that stepping out of your comfort zone is the key to personal transformation? By embracing discomfort, whether it's through physical challenges like cold showers or fasting, or mental challenges like pushing through fear, you become more resilient, more adaptable, and more prepared to face life's inevitable ups and downs. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you intentionally did something uncomfortable? Was it waking up early, pushing yourself in a workout, or maybe confronting a fear you've been avoiding? If you haven't, now is the perfect time to start. Try something small, maybe skip that second cup of coffee, or take a brisk walk in the cold without your usual layers. Pay attention to how it feels to sit with that discomfort and notice how your mind starts to adapt. As you start practicing this, remember, it's not about seeking discomfort for its own sake. It's about building resilience, just like Marcus Aurelius did. In the comments, let me know what challenge you're willing to take on to build your mental toughness. What's one discomfort you're ready to embrace to grow stronger? And here's the exciting part. Once you start embracing discomfort, you're ready to take control of the next principle, focusing only on what you can control. This is one of the most empowering lessons Stoicism has to offer, and it'll help you cut through the noise and find real peace in your day-to-day life. Let's explore it next. Principle 3. Focus on what you can control. Let me ask you something. How many times have you found yourself stressed or anxious over things that were completely out of your control? Maybe it's traffic making you late for work, or the unpredictable actions of other people. It's frustrating, right? Now, picture this. You're stuck in that same traffic, but instead of stewing in anger, you take a deep breath and think, I can't control this traffic, but I can control how I spend this time. Maybe you listen to a podcast, mentally prepare for your day, or simply enjoy the moment of peace. This is the essence of Stoicism's third principle, focusing only on what you can control. The Stoics knew that much of life is beyond our control. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, had the weight of the empire on his shoulders, but even he practiced this mindset. Instead of worrying about the outcomes of wars or political decisions, he focused on controlling his thoughts and actions. That's the key. When you focus on what you can control, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and anxiety. You regain power over your own life. Here's a practical way to start applying this principle. The next time something happens that feels overwhelming, maybe your boss drops a huge project on you at the last minute, or you get caught in a frustrating situation, pause and ask yourself, what part of this can I control? Write down 2 things, one that's outside your control and one that you can influence. Then take action on the part that's within your control. You'll find a surprising sense of relief in letting go of what you can't change. So, think about this. How much energy do you spend worrying about things that are out of your hands? What could you do if you redirected that energy towards something you actually have control over? Drop a comment below and let me know what situation you're ready to let go of. I'd love to hear how this principle could shift your perspective. Up next, we're diving into one of the most fascinating Stoic practices, negative visualization. This one might sound a bit strange at first, but trust me, it's a game changer. Let's explore how imagining the worst-case scenario can actually bring you more peace and calm. Stay tuned. Principle 4. Negative visualization. What if I told you that imagining the worst-case scenario could actually make you happier? Sounds strange, right? But this is one of the most powerful practices in Stoicism, known as negative visualization. Picture this. The year is 65 AD, and the philosopher Seneca sits in his study. He's one of the wealthiest men in Rome, but instead of luxuriating in his riches, He spends time each day contemplating what it would feel like to lose everything: his wealth, his position, even his life. Why? Because by mentally preparing for the worst, he builds resilience and gratitude for what he has. This practice made him nearly untouchable by fear or anxiety. Negative visualization isn't about being pessimistic. It's about preparing your mind for adversity so that when it happens, you're not caught off guard. Imagine the next time you're about to give a big presentation at work. Instead of just hoping everything goes perfectly, take a moment to think about what could go wrong. Maybe your slides won't load, or you'll stumble over your words. Now, instead of panicking, you can prepare. You might print out a backup of your slides or practice a few extra times. Suddenly, you're ready for anything, and that fear of the unknown loses its grip on you. Think about how much anxiety we generate by trying to avoid even thinking about failure or loss. But when you face those fears head-on, they lose their power over you. And not only that, negative visualization also helps you appreciate what you have. By imagining life without certain comforts or people, you start to cherish them more deeply. So, here's a quick challenge. Think of something in your life that you take for granted. A relationship, a job, even your health. Now, close your eyes and picture what life would be like if you suddenly lost it. How does that make you feel? Does it stir up a new sense of gratitude? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to hear how this practice changes your perspective. Speaking of perspective, the next Stoic principle will teach you how to live in the present moment. We're going to explore how focusing too much on the past or the future can rob you of peace right here, right now. Stick around for this one. It's a game changer. Principle 5. Mindfulness and living in the present. Have you ever noticed how much of your day is spent either worrying about the future or regretting the past? You're sitting at work, but your mind is replaying a mistake from yesterday or stressing over tomorrow's to-do list. The Stoics believed this constant tug-of-war between past and future robs us of the only thing we truly have, the present moment. One of the greatest Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Think about that for a second. How many times have you suffered through scenarios that never even happened? Living in the present is not just about being physically present, but mentally and emotionally engaged in now. The next time you're having a conversation, try to notice how often your mind drifts. Are you really listening, or are you thinking about what you're going to say next, or what you need to do later? The Stoics teach us that true peace comes from fully embracing the current moment, without letting it be overshadowed by worries of the past or future. Here's a simple exercise to start practicing this. Set aside a few minutes each day to just sit and observe your surroundings. What sounds do you hear? What thoughts pass through your mind? This practice of mindfulness can help anchor you in the present, where you can actually make decisions and take action. You can't change the past, and you can't predict the future, but you can choose how you engage with right now. So, let me ask you, what's one thing in your life that would improve if you spent more time fully present in the moment? Is it your relationships, your work, or maybe even just your own sense of calm? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's see how we can all benefit from being a little more mindful. Next, we'll explore a Stoic principle that's all about dealing with change. The Stoics believed that resisting change only leads to suffering, but embracing it is the path to growth. Stay tuned for this one. It'll reshape how you handle life's inevitable transitions. Principle 6. accept and adapt to change. Imagine this. You're walking through a dense forest, and suddenly a strong wind starts to blow. You can either fight against it, stiffen up and try to resist, or you can bend, sway with it, and keep moving forward. The Stoics believed that life is a lot like that wind. It's constantly changing, and the more you resist it, the harder life becomes. One of their core teachings is that everything around us is in a state of flux, and true strength comes not from trying to control change, but from learning to adapt to it. Take the Roman general and Stoic philosopher, Marcus Aurelius. In the midst of wars and political upheaval, he faced constant change and chaos. Yet, instead of resisting the unpredictability of his world, he embraced it. He knew that change was inevitable and that clinging to the past or trying to control the future would only lead to frustration. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." Think about your own life. How many times have you faced unexpected changes? Maybe it was losing a job, a sudden move, or a shift in a relationship. In those moments, did you find yourself wishing things would just stay the same? Stoicism teaches us that resisting change only amplifies our suffering. Instead, we can choose to see change as an opportunity for growth, a chance to practice courage and flexibility. Next time you're faced with change, try asking yourself this: what can I learn from this? And how can I adapt? The more you train your mind to flow with life's changes, the less you'll be thrown off by them. It's like building mental flexibility, just like a tree that bends with the wind but doesn't break. I'd love to hear from you. What's one major change you faced recently? And how did you handle it? Did you resist it, or were you able to adapt? Share your experiences in the comments, and let's learn from each other's journeys. And speaking of adapting, the next Stoic principle will introduce you to the art of gratitude. It's a practice that can transform even the most difficult situations into opportunities for appreciation and growth. Trust me, you won't want to miss this one. Let's dive in. Principle 7. Practice gratitude. Think back to a moment in your life when everything felt just right. Maybe it was a peaceful morning with your coffee or a day spent with loved ones. Now, how often did you truly pause to appreciate that moment? It's so easy to let life's daily blessings slip by unnoticed, but the Stoics understood that gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for transforming our mindset. They believed that even in hardship, there's always something to be grateful for. In fact, Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily to be content with what you have and to focus on the small blessings, no matter what challenges arose. Gratitude doesn't just mean appreciating the obvious good things, like a promotion or a sunny day. The Stoics took it a step further. They practiced gratitude even for their struggles. Why? Because every difficulty presents an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Seneca once wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." It's in these moments of friction that we often find the greatest opportunity for growth, and that's something to be grateful for. Here's a simple exercise. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on 3 things you're grateful for. And yes, that can include the challenges you faced. By regularly practicing gratitude, you start to shift your focus away from what's lacking and toward what's already abundant in your life. This mental shift can dramatically increase your overall sense of well-being and contentment. So, what's something you're grateful for today, even if it's something challenging? Maybe it's a tough conversation that helped you grow, or a project that pushed your limits. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what unexpected blessings you've uncovered through Stoic gratitude. And speaking of blessings, the next principle takes it up a notch. We'll dive into the Stoic belief that living with virtue is the highest form of good. It's more than just doing the right thing. It's about living with purpose and clarity. Ready to explore this life-changing idea? Let's keep going. Principle 8. Virtue as the highest good. Let's take a trip back to ancient Rome, where a young philosopher named Marcus Aurelius was learning how to navigate the immense responsibility of ruling an empire. Despite his power, wealth, and status, he constantly reminded himself of one thing: virtue is the highest good. To the Stoics, it wasn't fame, fortune, or pleasure that defined a good life. It was living in alignment with virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. Marcus Aurelius believed that as long as he lived according to these principles, he was truly succeeding, no matter the external challenges he faced. Now, here's the big question. What does virtue look like in today's world? It might not be as dramatic as ruling an empire, but the principles remain the same. Wisdom could mean seeking knowledge and making thoughtful decisions. Courage might be standing up for what's right, even when it's difficult. Justice is treating others with fairness, and self-discipline is mastering your impulses and doing what needs to be done, even when it's tough. One of the best ways to embody virtue is by making it your internal compass. No matter what situation you're in, ask yourself, what's the virtuous choice here? What action aligns with wisdom, courage, or justice? By doing this, you'll find that external rewards, like recognition or wealth, become secondary. The real reward is knowing you acted with integrity, and that's something no one can take away from you. So, here's something to think about. What's one area in your life where you can start living more virtuously? Is there a decision you've been avoiding because it's difficult, or a habit you need to break to stay true to your values? I challenge you to reflect on this and share your thoughts in the comments. It's through these small daily decisions that we begin to live a life of true virtue. Next up, we're diving into one of the Stoics' most profound teachings, memento mori, the reminder that life is short and time is precious. It's not as dark as it sounds, and in fact, it might be the most empowering concept yet. Stay tuned. Principle 9. Memento mori. Remember you will die. It might sound a little unsettling at first, but the Stoics embraced a daily reminder that life is finite. Memento mori, meaning remember you will die, was not a morbid thought to them, but a powerful tool for living fully. Imagine Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome, pausing in the midst of his responsibilities, reminding himself that despite his power and influence, he too would one day pass away. Why did he do this? Because acknowledging the brevity of life sharpened his focus on what truly mattered. In our modern world, it's easy to get caught up in the small stuff, deadlines, social media, endless to-do lists. But when you stop and remind yourself that your time here is limited, everything shifts. The petty annoyances seem less important, and the moments with family, friends, or pursuing your passions become more precious. Memento mori encourages you to live deliberately, to make choices that align with your values, and to let go of what doesn't serve your purpose. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine you only had 1 year left to live. How would you spend your time? Would you continue worrying about trivial things, or would you focus on what really matters? Would you chase after material success, or would you invest in experiences and relationships that fill your life with meaning? Reflecting on these questions can dramatically shift your priorities and help you live more fully. So, here's my challenge for you. Take a moment today to reflect on the impermanence of life, not in a fearful way, but in a way that inspires action. What's one thing you can do today to live more fully, knowing that time is your most precious resource? Share it in the comments. I'd love to hear what steps you're taking to make the most of your time. And as we look to the future, the next Stoic principle helps us do just that, by focusing on self-discipline and temperance. It's about mastering your impulses and using your time wisely, so you can live a life of purpose and clarity. Let's dive into that next. Principle 10. Self-discipline and temperance. Imagine this. It's early morning and the alarm rings. You have two choices: hit snooze and enjoy a few more minutes of comfort, or get up and start your day with purpose. That simple choice reflects a deeper Stoic principle: self-discipline and temperance. The Stoics believed that mastery over oneself, especially over one's impulses, is the path to true freedom. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, often spoke about the importance of controlling our desires and emotions. He knew from experience that while we can't always control external circumstances, we can control how we respond to them. In today's world, self-discipline is a superpower. We live in a society where instant gratification is at our fingertips. Social media, binge-watching, fast food, you name it. But what happens when you choose to practice temperance? When you decide to say no to distractions and yes to your long-term goals? You start to build a mental muscle that strengthens your willpower. This doesn't just make you more productive. It helps you live with purpose, making decisions based on what truly matters rather than giving in to fleeting temptations. Think about the last time you had a moment where discipline could have changed the outcome. Maybe it was deciding to stay focused at work instead of scrolling through your phone, or choosing to cook a healthy meal rather than ordering takeout. These small decisions, when practiced consistently, build up to create a life of purpose and clarity. Temperance isn't about depriving yourself. It's about knowing what truly benefits you and choosing that path over short-term pleasure. So here's a challenge for you. What's one area in your life where you could practice more self-discipline? Is it managing your time better, sticking to a fitness routine, or setting healthier boundaries? Let me know in the comments. Taking this small step towards greater self-control will set you on the path toward a more focused and fulfilling life. And speaking of fulfilling lives, the next Stoic principle encourages us to let go of the need for external validation. It's all about detaching from the outcomes and focusing on the process. Let's explore how this mindset shift can bring you more peace and power. Stay tuned. Principle 11. Detachment from outcomes. Imagine this. You're working hard on a project, whether it's for your career, a personal goal, or even a relationship. You've poured hours, energy, and dedication into it, but the results don't turn out the way you hoped. Frustrating, right? Now, think about how much of your disappointment comes not from the effort you put in, but from how things ended up. The Stoics knew this well, and they believed that true peace comes from detaching yourself from the outcome, focusing instead on the process. Take the example of Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Despite his monumental responsibilities as a leader, he constantly reminded himself that outcomes were never fully in his control. His focus was on doing his best, day by day, regardless of the results. He understood that while we can influence the world around us, we can't guarantee the way things will unfold. This is a powerful lesson for all of us. Control what you can, your actions and attitude, and let go of what you can't, the outcome. Let's make this more relatable. Think of a time when you worked toward a goal, whether it was a promotion, a fitness milestone, or even a relationship. If the outcome wasn't what you expected, how did it affect you? Stoicism teaches us to shift our mindset. Instead of asking, "Did I succeed?" ask yourself, "Did I do my best? Did I act with integrity and effort?" The result becomes secondary when you focus on doing your best with the right intention. Now, here's a challenge. Next time you're working towards something important, practice letting go of the outcome. Focus on the process, on showing up, putting in the effort, and being consistent. Share in the comments what goal you're working on and how you plan to detach from the result. This small shift can bring more peace, even when things don't go as planned. In the next section, we'll explore the final Stoic principle, the power of reflection. The Stoics believed in daily reflection as a way to improve and grow. We'll dive into how this simple practice can lead to constant self-improvement. Stay tuned. Principle 12. Reflect on your day. Daily Stoic reflection. Imagine ending each day by sitting quietly with your thoughts, reviewing the choices you made, and asking yourself, "Did I live today in alignment with my values?" The ancient Stoics, like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, believed that daily reflection was essential for personal growth. Marcus Aurelius himself would often journal about his actions and thoughts, evaluating whether he had lived according to Stoic principles. This habit of self-examination allowed him to constantly improve, refining his behavior and mindset with each passing day. Now, in today's fast-paced world, how often do we actually take time to reflect on our actions? We're so caught up in our to-do lists, distractions, and tomorrow's worries that we rarely pause to think, "Did I do my best today?" This simple practice of reflecting on your day, whether through journaling or just quietly thinking, can transform how you approach life. It's not about perfection, it's about growth. By looking back on your day, you can celebrate where you stayed true to your values and identify areas where you might need improvement. For example, let's say you've been working on practicing patience. At the end of the day, you could ask yourself, "How did I handle moments of frustration today? Did I lose my temper, or was I able to stay calm and composed?" By doing this, you create a habit of awareness. Over time, this small, consistent practice will help you stay more aligned with your intentions, making each day a little better than the last. So, here's a practical tip. Try taking 5 minutes at the end of your day to reflect. Ask yourself 3 questions. What went well today? What could I have done better? And how will I improve tomorrow? Share in the comments if this is something you already do, or if it's a habit you'd like to start. It's such a simple act, but the impact it can have on your personal growth is profound. And that wraps up our journey through the 12 Stoic principles. Remember, each of these practices, whether it's reframing your perceptions, embracing discomfort, or daily reflection, has the power to transform your life. The real question is, which one will you start with? If you found value in this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's keep growing together, one Stoic lesson at a time. Stay strong, stay focused, and remember, you have the power to shape your life. So here we are, at the end of our journey through the 12 Stoic principles. But in many ways, this is just the beginning. Imagine waking up tomorrow with a clearer mind, more control over your emotions, and a renewed sense of purpose. simply because you've chosen to apply these powerful Stoic ideas to your daily life. The ancient Stoics weren't superheroes. They were people just like us, navigating challenges, emotions, and uncertainties. The difference? They made a conscious effort to master their mindset, and you can too. Now it's your turn. What's the first Stoic principle you're going to put into practice? Maybe it's learning to embrace discomfort, or perhaps it's starting a daily reflection routine. Whatever it is, share it in the comments. I'm eager to hear which lesson resonated with you most. And remember, transformation doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent effort, you'll begin to see real change. If you enjoyed this video and found these Stoic principles helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. By doing so, you're not only supporting the channel, but also staying connected with more life-changing insights that can help you grow. Let's keep this conversation going. Together, we can continue to learn and apply these timeless principles in ways that elevate our everyday lives. Until next time, stay strong, stay focused, and most importantly, stay stoic.